Good morning, boys. I'm back again with the second installment of our reading. So, on this page that you see in front of you right now, I've compiled a little me and Uncle Romy cheat sheet for your spelling words, your vocabulary, and your amazing words from your book. So, on here, I've got the title, Unit 5, Week 5, Question of the Week, how does city life compare to the life in the country, and then the genre as well. So, we have got the little title page, which has the picture. Over here, the spelling words for the week. There are 15 of them. Some challenge words if you feel that you can tackle them. And then also the high frequency words that we went through in the previous lesson. So I placed this on Pearson for you already, so you can keep that and also go through and also help build your vocabulary for the words that you don't know. So that's basically the high frequency words, the sight words, as well as the spelling words for the week. So keep this document handy with you. I'm going to just share the rest of the screen with you quickly for the rest of the reading that we're going to complete today, and then the comprehension. So we stopped off on page 338 before, and then we had a picture, and now we're starting on page 340 today. So let's jump right in. So you remember that before where we stopped off, we stopped off where James was going around town with Aunt Nanette, and he was finding his favorite places, playing stickball, and also eating ice cream, barbecue, going to window shopping on Saks Fifth Avenue, things like that. So that's where we left off. And now he's telling us a bit more about how he spends his time in New York. So page 340 if you get lost. On rainy days, I wrote postcards and helped out around the apartment. I told Aunt Nanette about the things I like to do back home. About baseball games, train watching, my birthday. She told me about the special Caribbean lemon mango cake that she was going to make. My Uncle Romy stayed hidden away in his studio, but I wasn't worried anymore. Aunt Nanette would make my birthday special. 4, 3, 2, 1. My birthday was almost here. And then Aunt Nanette got a phone call. An old aunt has died, James. I have to go away for the funeral. But don't worry, Uncle Romy will spend your birthday with you. It'll be just fine. That night, Aunt Nanette kissed me goodbye. I knew it would not be fine at all. Uncle Romy didn't know about cakes or baseball games or anything except his dumb old paintings. My birthday was ruined. When the sky turned black, I tucked myself into bed. I missed Mama and Daddy so much. I listened to the birds on the rooftop. Their songs continued into the night. The next morning, everything was quiet. I crept out of bed and into the hall. For the first time, the door to Uncle Romy's studio stood wide open. What a glorious mess! There were paints and scraps all over the floor, and around the edges were huge paintings with all sorts of pieces pasted together. I saw saxophones, birds, fire escapes, and brown faces. It's Harlem, I thought. The people, the music, the rooftops, and the stoops. Looking at Uncle Romy's paintings, I could feel Harlem, its beat and bounce. Then there was one that was different. Smaller houses, flowers, and chains. That's home, I shouted. Yep, Uncle Romy said, smiling from the doorway. That's the Carolina I remember. Mama says you visited your grandparents there most every summer when you were a kid, I said. I sure did, James. Now that's the place for pepper jelly, smeared thick on biscuits. And when Grandma wasn't looking, I'd sneak some on a spoon. Daddy and I do that too, I told him. We laughed together, then walked to the kitchen for a breakfast feast. Eggs, bacon, grits, and biscuits. James, you've got me remembering the pepper jelly lady. People used to line up down the block to buy her preserves. Could you put someone like that in one of your paintings? I asked. I guess I could, Uncle Romy nodded. Yes, that's a memory just right for sharing. What a good idea, James. Now let's get the birthday going. He brought out two presents from home. I tore into the packages while he got down the paper jelly and two huge spoons. Mama and Daddy had picked out just what I wanted, a special case for my baseball cards and a model train for me to build. Pretty cool, said Uncle Romy. I used to watch the trains down in North Carolina, you know. How funny to picture big Uncle Romy lying on his belly. PJ and me, we have contests to see who can hear the trains first. Hey, I did that too, you know. It's a funny thing, James. People live in all sorts of different places and families, but the things we care about are pretty much the same, like favorite foods, special songs, games, stories, and like birthdays. Uncle Romy held up 2 tickets to a baseball game. It turns out Uncle Romy knows all about baseball. He was even a star pitcher in college. We got our mitts and set off to the game. Way up in the bleachers, we shared a bag of peanuts, cracking the shells with our teeth and keeping our mitts ready in case a home run ball came our way. That didn't happen, but we sure had fun. Aunt Nanette came home at night. She lit the candles and we all shared my Caribbean birthday cake. After that, Uncle Romy had to work a lot again, but at the end of each day, he let me sit with him in his studio and talk. Daddy was right. Uncle Romy is a good man. The day of the big art show finally came. I watched the people laughing and talking, walking slowly around the room from painting to painting. I walked around myself, listening to their conversations. Remember our first train ride from Chicago to New York? One lady asked her husband. That guitar playing man reminds me of my Uncle Joe, said another. All these strangers talking to each other about their families and friends and special times, and all because of how Uncle Romy's paintings reminded them of these things. Later that night, Daddy called. I had a brand new brother and sister. Daddy said that they were both bald and made a lot of noise, but he sounded happy and how they all missed me. This time, Aunt Nanette and Uncle Romy took me to the train station. Here's a late birthday present for you, James, said Uncle Romy, holding out a package. Open it on the train, why don't you? It'll help pass the time on the long ride. I waved out the window to Uncle Romy and Aunt Nanette until I couldn't see them anymore. Then I ripped off the wrapping. And there was my summer in New York. Bright sky in the one corner, city lights at night in another, tall buildings, baseball ticket stubs, the label from the pepper jelly jar, and trains. One going toward the skyscrapers, another going away. Back home, I lay in the soft North Carolina grass. It was the 1st of September, almost Uncle Romy's birthday. I watched the birds streak across the sky. Rooftop birds, I thought. Back home from their summer in New York, just like me. Watching them, I could still feel the city's beat inside my head. A feather drifted down from the sky in the garden, tiger lilies bent in the wind. Uncle Romy's favorite flowers. I yanked off a few blossoms and then I was off on a treasure hunt, collecting things that reminded me of Uncle Romy. I painted and pasted them together on a big piece of cardboard. Right in the middle, I put the train schedule, and at the top I wrote, Happy birthday, Uncle Romy. So that concludes the story for this week. On the last page, you can see here that James made a birthday card for Uncle Romy. And he tried to make it as special as possible, just like Uncle Romy would do it. So he made a beautiful little card. That concludes the story, and I hope you enjoyed it. Please, please, please take a look at the Pearson vocabulary sheet that I placed on there for this week's story, and I will cover your comprehension in the next video. Thank you so much for joining in.